Okay, textile loving quilt people, we are ready to get started on taking a quick look at the new leaf collection, which I'm super excited about, yay. So let's take a look at not only the quilts that I made with this fabric collection, but how I kind of see the whole fabric collection going together. Okay, let's take a look. My inspiration for this collection was actually to do an updated version of camo. Yes, of camouflage. We all love that. And as you know, I generally tend to design for men because at some point we all make quilts for men, right? And whether you're making for your husband or your son or whomever, now you have a more appropriate set of fabrics that are high design, cool, relatable, such as camouflage, and it's going to look amazing in your work because I have designed each fabric for a very specific purpose, which I think you'll find cool. Well, I find cool. So I hope you like it too. Let's take a quick look at the designs within the collection. Okay, here we go. The first pattern in the collection, right, the first design is this one, and it's called ribbon, right? And I see this one as a great way to use your fabrics with this design in a border, right? So take a look, you can kind of see the colors within the collection, right? But then also you can see here, right, how on this border down here, I used this fabric, right? It gives it kind of just a nice natural feel to it, and the scale is such that it really works beautifully in a border. So that was my intention with that design. All right, let's look at the next one. The next one is called, and it's my floral within the collection, right? It's called Verdant, and it is a take on branches. It's just a bunch of sticks, right? Kind of gone like this in the computer, right, to create this design, which I really love. Again, you can see the colors within the collection, right? And this one, again, like I said, is my floral, and I think it's kind of very cool. All right, on to the next one. This one is called Filigree, okay? And it's kind of my line work. I always like to include line work within a collection because it's so directional. And whether you're using it on a stop border or for binding or, you know, any other thing that needs a little bit of a line, some direction, this is ideal. And I think it works really well. You can see how I used it here on the Unify Divide quilt, right? Here in my stop border. Right? So you can see how that worked out right here, right? And then I repeated it again on my binding. So I thought that turned out great. All right, the next one is called Nuclei, and it is kind of one of my more, I don't know, vibrant kind of patterns, right? It actually has like the cells of a leaf kind of in this design, right? And so again, you can see the colors that comes in. It's the entire quilt that made up the Unify Divide, right? You can see it how I used it here, right? So it has that flow of all the bubbles heading the same direction, okay? So that's this one here. Again, it's called Nuclei. All right, moving on, the next one is called Nap. And I called it nap, not as far as I'm taking a nap, but more like this is like the nap of a carpet because it has a really interesting texture to it, right? And so you'd use this, you can kind of see how it's camouflage related, right? But a little more high design and not such that it's too, you know, on the nose when it comes to actual patterning, right? And so those are the colors here that nap comes in. And then we have flow. I promise we only have two more. All right, we have flow that really is a subtle design, right? And that one kind of has a very natural kind of feel to it that I really enjoy. I thought this one would be beautiful in a Christmas quilt. Ooh, I really want to do that. So these are the colors that that one comes in. Okay. And then finally, we have Grove. Grove is an actual leaf, right? So you can see the main like lines, which are actually the center vein of the leaf, right? And so you can see how that would work, right? And how that actually shows up in one of my quilts, especially this one here, Winter's Way. Winter's Way is made up almost entirely of the Grove pattern. And you can see how I use that with the little red triangles actually being very much like little leaves, right? You can see how that works out in this quilt itself. So that is a brief overview. Hello, I'm up here. That is a brief overview, but I want to show you also how these fabrics go together in the mini collections within the collection. QuiltingCowboy.com. I'll be right back. Okay, the first little mini collection that we're going to look at is the yellows and greens, right? And so you have, your line work, right, with filigree in 2 colors here. You have your Grove, right, that has the actual leaf printed on it. You have a really great fabric for your borders, yay. And then you have 2 florals here, kind of the green, and then the yellow, I love this yellow, and then the nuclei in green and yellow. So you can see how that all works together, kind of as a little mini collection, right? And how you could make an incredible quilt with just these, or mix and match with the whole rest of the collection. I love it. Our next little mini collection is the whites. Well, they're off whites, caramels, browns, yummy, yummy, yummy. Like this is a good one, an example of it. But you can see how, again, you have a nice little mini collection to do one quilt out to just buy these fabrics, and they'll all go together just beautifully as a little mini collection. So if you're, hesitant on what to buy, where to start, right? So just reference these little mini collections, which I think are really beautiful, and they go together really well. So I hope that you love these. Let's look at the next one. Next is the reds and navies. Oof, I just love red in a quilt. I just think it's really beautiful. And so again, you have this whole collection of a bunch of different fabrics and different designs, right, that you can use for whether you need something that's high print, or if you need something that's low impact, or if you need a great design such as this, which makes beautiful red leaves, right? So you can see how this all goes together, and then it also gives you this incredible border fabric that's reminiscent of buffalo plaid, but not too, on the nose. So those are the reds and blues. I hope that you enjoy them as a collection. Let's look at the next one. Okay, next we get into the grays and navies. They'll just behave. So here again is your border fabric, right? And then something with a little more twinkle to it, right? That I love to use for the stop border, right? And then again, your leaf pattern, right? That's gonna make really cool leaves when you cut it out. Some higher design pattern, some line work, right? With this one, right? So it gives you, again, hopefully, an idea of where to start. I know it can be overwhelming when you're first looking at an entire collection. It's like 30 designs. You're like, well, where do I start, right? So I tried to chunk this up for people so that they can see it, they can use it, they know where to go to. If they need just this many fabrics, it's a done deal, right? Of course, you can always mix and match the collection as you like, but I'm hoping that this will really help people out. So if they just need a couple of fabrics, they're designing something for a guy, they want something really cool, check it out. And finally, my absolute favorite. I know I'm probably not supposed to have a favorite, but I really do. This little mini collection of the black and whites. Oh my gosh, I just find so scrumptious, and I cannot wait to start working with it a little bit more in future projects. Black and white is just always such an amazing, like, classic staple, right? And so here's your border fabric again, right? And then the leaf pattern, right? It's called Grove, that you can put into your work. I just think that this would make a really beautiful Christmas quilt when you kind of added in just a few of the reds. I think it will be really beautiful. Anyhow, that's the black and white. I hope that you love, love, love it. What did you think of the fabrics? Now let me show you what quilts I actually made and designed with my own fabrics. Amazing! And I hope you like it. Let's take a look at the 3 that I've published so far. All right, Prairie Pastures, I love this quilt. It's a little bit, well, not for the beginner. Sorry. So it is kind of an intro to paper piecing. If you haven't done that technique before, it's really not that difficult, okay? And hopefully my design instructions will walk you through it. But a little bit of a background in paper piecing will help you do this project, okay? So again, it's called Prairie Pastures, and I love, love, love the movement in it, and the fabrics themselves, I think, really highlight the camouflage kind of quality of a lot of them and how you use them. Okay, let's look at the next one. And this one is called Winter's Way. As you can tell, like there's little arrows pointing each direction, and it's kind of made for like a Christmas quilt made of these really cool little leaves that I included in my Grove pattern. So that kind of shows you how to use that, and I think it's pretty cool. So that one is available. Just go to quiltingcowboy.com, hit on that shop tab, and you can download the pattern right at home. Woohoo! And the last one we're going to look at today is this pattern here that uses my nuclei, right, with all the little bubbles flowing through it, pattern within the collection. I think it's super cool. It kind of creates this Mojave, Southwestern kind of feel to it. So I hope that you like that. It is pretty easy to do, but that's it. Those are the 3 quilts that I made with this fabric. I showed you the mini collections, I showed you the designs, and I hope that you love it. If you do want to follow me on YouTube or social media, just look anywhere, search Quilting Cowboy, and I will be there being as ridiculous as I possibly can. Talk to you next time. Bye.